Okay, so my mom just got done doing all the taping in these rooms. And the way that we do the taping is we don't do any sanding. So we sponge out the little bit that's left when you're done. That's these marks right here. That's from sponging it instead of sanding it. Sanding makes way too much dust. Nobody wants dust in their house. So we learned a long time ago to do dustless taping. I've done a lot of taping myself. I have thousands of hours doing taping. It's a good winter project to do to keep things going while things are frozen outside. So I've done that for many years myself. I was gonna do it here too, but I just had too much going on, so I asked my mom if she could do it. And she did a good job. So again, there's no dust. The only little dust that we have is just a little bit that falls out just from scraping something that's like a ridge or something. But other than that, everything is perfectly flat, perfectly smooth. Butt joints are not sticking out because we always take the spackle and spread it real wide on both sides for a butt joint. We don't really have a lot of butt joints in here, but that is the practice. We were able to blend this in up here with the existing sheetrock, make that look all nice. So now that she's all done with this, I can go ahead and install my final electric, and now I can get going on the tiling in this bathroom as well as doing the tile for that shower, hooking up all the plumbing for that and the bath. And in this room, the customer is going to install the flooring and they're going to paint. Okay, so the customer decided to put a window over the tub, so I suggested a wide but short window. So you can get those in a slider. So we're gonna put it right there. It's gonna be about like that. You could also use like a hopper for a basement window. Those also make good shower windows or bath windows, because you don't want it sticking down too far for the waterproofing and for privacy. ahead and install my shower base here. I have a preformed Schluter shower base. This is the shower kit right here. I got a 48 by 48 and you cut it down. So it's pre-sloped. So this shower is going to be 30 by 36. So it'll be 36 this way and 30 this way. So you got to cut it even so that the drain stays in the center. I've installed many of these and they're really nice. So it comes with the curb and it comes with all the waterproofing, which we actually don't need because we're going to use Curdy board. And then it comes with the drain flange, which waterproofs everything and sends it down below. And then all you need is the actual grate. So we got one of those. And this is the flange here. And I'll show you all that in a minute. But this whole thing is made out of foam, and the wall is made out of foam too. So this is the Curdy board right here. This is foam, 1/2 inch, and it's waterproofed with the Curdy membrane on it. That works really nice. It's a little bit more expensive than Duroc, but it's a much better product. One of the main reasons is because it's foam, so whenever you have a tiled shower, it's always a little bit cold in cold weather. But what this does is it gives it a thermal break so that the cold doesn't transfer between the studs and the tiles, which absorb that cold. So this gives it like a buffer between that. That way it doesn't get so cold. Plus it just adds a little bit of insulation too. Just want to dry fit everything, make sure everything works, moves around freely, it's not impeded going down or up. Got a little bit of wiggle room, good to go. So now I'm going to use unmodified thin set underneath this. So I'm going to do 3/8 by 1/4 inch notch trowel. Trimming the curb down because nobody likes a huge curb on these showers. There we go. This is what the back of this panel looks like. You need to put a bed of mortar down underneath of it, so I'm going to use a 1/4 by 3/8 trowel. Now that I have that shower pan in, I can go ahead and start tiling in here. Ideally, it'd be nice to put this valve in so I can get the walls put on here, but we're waiting on that valve. So in the meantime, we can put this tile in. I'm going to be installing Schluter Ditra on the floor. It's an uncoupling membrane. A lot of you have probably seen this. This is the mortar I'm going to be using. This is an unmodified thin set, especially for uncoupling mats, and you're going to use a polymer additive to it to make it a modified thin set. You can also use just a regular modified thin set as long as it meets the 118 standards. So underneath this membrane, you put a layer of thin set, and you can either use, there's various sizes that they let you use, but this is a special trowel just for it. You mix this in place of water for the thin set to put this down. Once you start laying tiles on top of this, then you use an unmodified thin set or fast set. So what I like to do is just cut strips of this ahead of time, kind of pre-fit them, and then roll them back up and have them all ready before I start doing anything. Because I got corners like going around here and the door and around there, in and out all over the place, so it's not just like big strips that you lay down. This is the tile that we're going to be using. It's an 8x40 wood looking tile. I like using these wood looking tiles. I've used a lot of them. doing me now.
Every time, every time.
Okay, well, it's hard to see, but this is all full of water. I did a leak test for 48 hours. Make sure that none of these joints are leaking. So I just put a plug in the bottom. That way the water stays in here. And you just kind of fill it up to the curb and check for leaks. I still got to put the Curdy bands on the corners and the joints, and then all of these fasteners here. But at least I know that the pan doesn't leak, which is what I was looking for. So now I can start tiling the base and the curb. What I'm going to do now is install this trim. This is aluminum. This is a satin nickel finish. And what this does is gives you kind of a bullnose for the end of the tiles instead of actually using a bullnose or a border. And so usually you embed this while you're doing it, but I found a neat little trick that works a lot better. So what I'm going to do for here is use some of this Gorilla construction adhesive, and this is like the 0-second instant grab. This is the better version. I think it's a new product. See, so I'm going to use that to embed this right now before I do anything, and then that way I don't have to set it up as I'm going along, because you kind of want to like embed it and tile at the same time, which if you're doing trim here, there, and there, and there, then it becomes kind of weird because you got to do everything all at once and make sure it doesn't dry too quick. So this kind of helps you so you don't have to do that, which is kind of neat. Alright guys, well, we're finally done. So we got our toilet, we got our freestanding tub, we used the existing pedestal sink, got our shower done. Everything is done on my part. The customer just needs to paint the trim in the walls and then put some baseboard on. The shower came out pretty good. They didn't want any niches or any soap holders or anything like that. One thing I always try to put in a bathroom whenever I'm doing one is a humidity sensor. That right there is gonna sense when there's a certain amount of humidity in here, and it'll turn on automatically. And then that turns on the bathroom vent. It's very important to vent when you're taking a shower. Most people don't even use it properly. You're supposed to leave it on for like a half an hour after you take a shower, but nobody does that. So some people put it on a timer, but me, I like to just put it on this. That way it's totally gonna take care of it by itself. You don't have to do anything. And you can set that to different humidity settings, and you can also turn it on manually too. So we just got to put 2 covers on those. Got our GFCI and a switch for there. That's one thing that we don't have yet. The customer's going to pick out the light there, so we just don't have that yet. So we're like 99.5% done here with my part anyways. So then we got this bedroom. This is all good to go. Customer's going to finish it up. Got our little closet here. You can always tell how good of work people do when you look in the closet. Like if you're looking at a house and you look inside the closet and see how good the work is, you know that if the work is good, then the work on the rest of the house is going to be good. If it's not good work in the closet, like the taping is all messed up and the trim is not even on, that doesn't mean that the work in the house is bad, but it could be a sign of that. So whenever you're looking at a house, go ahead and look in a closet first thing, see how good that is. So during the videos of this part of this project, I had a lot of comments saying that we should have just torn this down and started over again. But that definitely wouldn't have saved any money, because the way the materials are right now with the pricing and all these beams, that's priceless. Even that light up there is a converted gas lantern. I mean, we could have saved that, but I'm just saying, just the materials in the roof and the trusses, these beams, the sheetrock up there, the plywood on the outside, it definitely wouldn't have paid to just knock this down. Plus, you're also paying to knock it down too. So it was definitely more efficient to just put the foundation underneath and redo whatever needed to be redone. So we also have these beams here that are exposed. It's kind of a little neat feature here. Added a smoke detector there. But you can see these beams are, you know, they're over 200 years old sitting here. So it was nice to kind of keep them in there. It's nice that the whole house isn't filled with dust too, because my mom did the Dustless taping. Everything looks really good. We've been doing that for years. Dustless taping. Everybody loves that. Should do a video just on that. We put a toilet in here that's a little bit more efficient than normal. There's 2 settings for flush. This is just for going number 1. This is for going number 2. Hence the 1 drop and the 2 drops there. It uses a lot less to flush when you press this one. Whenever I'm putting something against an outside wall, I never like to put the supply lines going in the wall like you normally would have. You know, normally I have it like that, where they come out of the wall, but that's an interior wall, that's why. This one's an exterior wall, so you don't want to do that. Not here anyways. Down south you could get away with that. Put an extra outlet in there, just charging your phone or whatever. So they're just going to use a shower curtain in there for now anyways. They might get a door later, but for right now a shower curtain works good. You know, with the grout on this looks pretty good. Top is all finished up. Another neat thing about this Curdy board, the foam board that I put behind these tiles, is it kind of attenuates the sound. When I'm doing tiling, I always back butter the tiles unless it's a mosaic tile, and then I don't. This trim that I put around the tiles works really nice. They have a few different styles. This is kind of like a bullnose quarter round style. Satin nickel is pretty popular. I like that too. And it makes things look a lot cleaner because sometimes you can't get a bullnose tile for some tiles. So this is an alternative. And I like this curb top here. That looks pretty good. It's like an engineered marble. It goes good with the rest of the shower. I used to do a lot of interior work like this. I just don't really do it anymore. It's not really my thing. I can still do it, like in this case, but if somebody called me up and wanted to do this, I wouldn't do it. But I did it here because we built this and we did a lot of work on the rest of the house. So I'm just kind of following along to what they want to do. But really, if somebody called me up just to do bathroom work, I wouldn't do it. It's just not my thing anymore. I'm really into, you know, concrete and excavation, but I don't really like to be bothering people in their house. It's just not something I enjoy doing anymore. If I'm going to be doing work at somebody's house, it's going to be on the outside, or if they don't live there. These lights are really nice. I always put these little tiny lights in there. They make a big difference. Nobody likes those huge can lights like the 6-inch ones. Nobody puts those in anymore. Everybody likes the small ones. These aren't the gimbal style, but I actually install a lot of those too, where they actually swivel. And they're good for like slope ceilings and cathedral ceilings. So we're actually using some of those on the other part of this house in the addition. So that's going to be the next video on this project, is finishing up the other part, the addition, and then the geothermal video, and then we're done. So I'll see you guys on those.